Michael, why do you want to run for office?
I want to run for office because I believe that we need grassroots, on the ground neighborhood leadership. We need representation to increase in the third ward, meaning it's a very diverse ward. So we need to represent everybody from way out, even near Eastbrook Mall, that's still the third ward, all the way down to the inner city where I live in South Hill. There's different needs, and I want to be somebody who is on the ground, knocking on doors, talking to people, having community gatherings, and working with neighborhood associations.
What do you think the biggest challenge facing the third ward is right now?
Truth be told, I believe these days you can put in one. You have to put in three. First one, like I said before, representation. I'm not, the commissioners before me have done a good job, but they're getting older, they're getting out of their office. We have very heavy representation in the second and first ward, and I want to be the person that is very responsive to people's needs. Second, violence. We're not, a lot of us see that there's violence lately, especially in a lot of neighborhoods in the third ward, but there's also B&Es on the increase in neighborhoods such as Elger Heights or Ridgemore. So I want to implement community policing tactics that address those issues and are cost-effective measures to bringing down the crime percentages. And the last thing I think is infrastructure. I mean, roads, neighborhood business corridors and neighborhoods, they all need economic boosts to try to bring up the neighborhoods. I'm all in for downtown development. I believe downtown development is key, but I think we should not negate our third ward neighborhoods as well.
So give me some specifics. Take at least one of those and tell me how you would deal with it.
Well, Cure Violence is a group out of Chicago. Recently, working with members of the Mayor's Gun Task Force, I helped bring Kobe Williams, who's a violence interrupter from the Cure Violence program out of Chicago, here to Wealthy Theater, where he was on a panel with members such as Reverend Jerry Bishop, Officer Captain Payne, and others to talk about bringing this program here. They have now written the grant, and we are working right now to implement this in the inner cities of Grand Rapids, especially in the third ward area. This program would be a way that would curb inner city violence by dealing with it as a public health issue, where they would actually have violence interrupters, members of the neighborhood who might have been tangled up in this type of violence at one time, getting calls, reacting to actually act as referees to bring two groups apart, work with them for peaceful negotiations, working alongside the police as well. This is a very cost-effective way. It's been proven in Chicago and other cities I've implemented to bring down the inner city shooting and violent crime rate by almost 50% in some of the neighborhoods. So this is one way I've been working on it, and I'll continually work on implementing that program within the city of Grand Rapids.
You talked about community policing and law enforcement and that, and one of the other subjects that has come up, that all the candidates, regardless of what ward, and if you're in Kentwood or Wyoming as well, is this whole idea of consolidating public safety. Where do you fall on that issue?
I'm open to consolidation. I'm not saying that I'm not. But, talking to the firefighters, talking to the police here in the city, I believe that the police departments are very effective right now. They're not broken. That this kind of implementation, unless we talk, I believe their conversation needs to keep going, because this is a very drastic move in our city. Not saying it can't be effective. I've seen the report. It says that it could be effective. It's not that I do not believe it, but I think we have a lot more questions that need to be answered, and we need to bring a lot more people to the table before we implement, because the last thing I want to do is put public safety at risk by any percentage.
So you got an open mic, an open camera. Tell the viewers something we may not have covered that you want them to know about.
Well, one thing is I was born and raised in the third ward. I was in the military for 6 years. I'm a combat veteran. I was at peacekeeping in Kosovo. I was in the Operation Iraqi Freedom. I have my graduate degree from Aquinas with an emphasis in organizational development and economics, and this is something that I'm going to use many of those skills to implement cost-effective economic solutions, but also use organizational development techniques to really bring together a lot of diverse groups, especially in the third ward. I think that's necessary right now. I think that my education and background in bridge building and moving forward is something that I will implement heavily in the third, and I believe people will be happy with that type of representation.